The words on the back of that photograph echoed through the investigation room long after everyone stopped speaking.
She was never the target. Detective Laura Bennett read it again, slower this time, as if the ink might rearrange itself into something less terrifying.
But it didn't.
It stayed exactly as written, deliberate, confident, taunting. If Emily Whitmore wasn't the target,
then her husband, Daniel, was.
Which meant this wasn't a crime of passion. It was calculated, and someone wanted them to know it. The storage unit became ground zero for the next phase of the investigation. Every document, every shred of paper, every speck of dust was catalogued.
Financial analysts were brought in to reconstruct what Daniel Whitmore had uncovered before his death.
What they found was bigger than a simple laundering scheme.
Millions of dollars had been funneled through shell corporations tied to a regional investment firm Daniel had quietly partnered with 2 years earlier, Ashcroft Strategic Holdings. The company marketed itself as a high-end wealth management group serving Midwest business elites. Clean branding, polished executives,
impeccable reviews, but beneath the surface, funds were being rerouted offshore, disguised as international asset diversification. Daniel had flagged discrepancies 3 months before he died, and someone inside Ashcroft would have known.
Detective Marcus Hale pulled up employee records and cross-referenced them with Daniel's call logs. One number appeared repeatedly in the weeks leading up to the murder, registered to a man named Victor Ashcroft, founder and CEO. Victor Ashcroft,
a philanthropist, a donor to city development programs,
a respected name in Cedar Ridge.
And now, possibly, a man with motive.
When detectives requested an interview, Ashcroft didn't hesitate. He welcomed them into his glass-walled office overlooking the city, dressed in a tailored navy suit, his expression calm and mildly inconvenienced. Daniel was a brilliant analyst, Ashcroft said smoothly. Paranoid at times, but brilliant. Paranoid about what?
Bennett asked. Ashcroft folded his hands. He thought someone inside the firm was manipulating accounts. I assured him we'd conduct an internal audit. Did you? A pause, just long enough to register. We began preliminary reviews. Did you threaten him?
Hale asked bluntly.
Ashcroft's expression hardened, not angry, but controlled.
Detective, I build businesses.
I don't destroy families. It was a perfect answer. Too perfect. While detectives pressed Ashcroft, a new development shifted the entire case.
Emily Whitmore's car was found abandoned 70 miles away near a bus terminal in Columbus.
No signs of forced entry. No signs of struggle. Her purse was still inside wallet, identification, everything untouched, but the driver's seat had been adjusted significantly forward.
As if someone shorter had been driving.
Forensic analysis revealed a partial fingerprint on the rearview mirror. It didn't match Daniel. It didn't match Emily.
But it matched the unknown print found on the hallway wall the night Daniel died.
They had one consistent ghost.
And then came the twist no one saw coming.
The silver bracelet seen in the security footage, the one identical to Emily S, was recovered from a pawn shop 3 counties away. Sold 2 days after the murder by a woman using a fake ID.
Security footage from the shop showed her clearly. It wasn't Emily.
The woman was younger, similar height, similar build,
but not Emily Whitmore.
Which meant someone had intentionally worn that bracelet inside the Whitmore home the night of the murder.
Someone wanted investigators to suspect the missing wife. The case shifted from suspicion to framing. But why frame Emily?
The answer came from an unexpected place. 8-year-old Sophie Whitmore began having nightmares. In one therapy session, she mentioned something she hadn't told investigators before. MOM had a sister, Sophie whispered.
But we don't talk about her. Detective Bennett froze. A sister?
There had been no record of any sibling in Emily's background check. No social media traces.
No mention in family interviews. When confronted, Emily's parents reluctantly confirmed it. Yes, her mother said, her voice trembling.
Emily had a twin sister, Claire.
Claire Whitmore.
Estranged for nearly 15 years.
A history of fraud charges in her early 20s.
Identity theft.
Financial scams.
Disappeared after skipping bail in another state.
No one had seen her since.
Until now.
Facial recognition software cross-checked the pawn shop footage.
Match confirmed.
Claire Whitmore. Alive.
And suddenly connected to a murder investigation. Detective Hale exhaled sharply.
If Claire resurfaced and Daniel recognized her, you weren't supposed to come back. Bennett finished, quoting the cryptic phrase Daniel had said before he died. Claire had motive. If Daniel uncovered financial crimes, and Claire had a history of fraud, the overlap was too clean to ignore.
But things escalated quickly. The day detectives secured a warrant for Claire's arrest, Ashcroft Strategic Holdings reported a massive internal data breach.
Financial records tied to offshore accounts were wiped from their servers overnight. erased.
The digital trail Daniel had followed was disappearing in real time,
Someone was panicking.
and someone had access. Detective Bennett made a bold move. She subpoenaed Ashcroft's private communications.
Buried within encrypted email exchanges was a thread between Victor Ashcroft and an alias account traced back to Claire Whitmore.
The subject line read, "Leverage." The messages were coded but clear in intent. "She has to look guilty. He'll talk if we apply pressure, make it convincing."
Bennett felt a chill crawl up her spine. Claire wasn't acting alone. Daniel had threatened exposure,
Ashcroft needed him silent.
and Claire, with her history, her resemblance to Emily, and her desperation, was the perfect weapon. But the next discovery raised the stakes to a level no one anticipated.
A traffic camera captured Claire's vehicle heading north toward a remote cabin property registered under one of Ashcroft's shell companies.
SWAT units were deployed immediately.
Inside the cabin, they found signs of recent occupancy: food wrappers, a laptop, burner phones, and in the basement,
They found Emily Whitmore, alive,
weak.
dehydrated, but alive, bound to a chair.
When paramedics stabilized her, she managed to whisper something before losing consciousness.
It wasn't just Claire.
Back at headquarters, investigators pulled data from the recovered laptop.
On it were detailed surveillance logs of the Whitmore family,
Bank routing numbers, transaction histories.
internal company audits. Claire hadn't just been hired muscle. She had been gathering evidence.
Which meant one terrifying possibility.
Claire Whitmore wasn't just helping Ashcroft. She was building her own insurance policy. And as detectives prepared to transport Emily to protective custody, another call came in. Victor Ashcroft's private jet had filed an emergency flight plan.
Destination, Zurich. He was running.
As police raced toward the airfield, a final encrypted message pinged from Claire's laptop to an unknown offshore server. 3 words: "Release everything now. The jet engines roar to life."
And in that moment, Detective Bennett realized this case was no longer just about murder. It was about exposure.
And if Claire had truly gathered enough evidence to bring down Ashcroft,
Then stopping him might not save the Whitmore family.
it might ignite something far bigger. As officers closed in on the runway and emergency vehicles blocked the jet's path, one question burned through the chaos. Was Claire trying to destroy Ashcroft? Or was she about to destroy everyone?
If you think you've figured out where this case is heading, you're not ready for what comes next. Subscribe, because the final chapter of this story will reveal a confrontation no one walks away from unchanged.